Hey, what's going on guys? Daniel from ModBot here, and today is the day that we are going to be reviewing the Tronxy X3 3D printer that was sent to me from GearBest. I was really excited to receive this printer due to the fact that it had an all aluminum frame as well as a large build volume at 220 by 220 by 300. This is actually the largest printer that I have ever built. And up until now, I had mostly dealt with acrylic framed China kit printers, so to get one that was made of actual aluminum was quite refreshing. I assembled this 3D printer on stream in maybe 3 or 4 parts, and it went pretty well up until the electronics housing box. The PDF that came with the printer seemed to be of a different version of the printer, and the computer generated images that were in the PDF for assembly were super unclear. Anyone that was in my live stream can vouch for my frustration. This is a pretty standard thing though with China kit printers, and I've definitely had similar things with other ones, but this one was definitely trying my patience upon assembly. Once I did manage to get it assembled, everything else was pretty straightforward. I leveled the bed, I did a bit of tweaking on the extruder stepper motor, and it was off to printing. One of the main things that I really want to talk about with this printer is its build. It is a really strong printer due to its aluminum frame, and once assembled, you're not going to have to worry about it. If you have to move it at all, the unit is extremely solid. It uses 2 lead screws to lift the extruder on the Z-axis, which is always nice to see. It seems like it's becoming more and more of a standard thing across these kit printers. This printer uses bearings that are kind of similar to the 608Z skateboard bearings to move on all of the axes, which is something I've never seen before. Usually they use like LM8U bearings, but it seems to work quite effectively. The hot end is an all-metal type hot end, so you will be able to use pretty much any filament, but it does have a Bowden setup, a relatively small Bowden setup, so there's a chance that with some of the more flexible filaments you might have some issues, but you should still be able to print flexible filaments, at least somewhat with them, at a lower speed of course. The heated bed had no problems heating up, and if you do plan on printing with ABS or other filaments that do require a high temperature bed, an enclosure would really help it reach those temperatures much quicker. All of the electronics for this printer are housed in an acrylic box that sits besides the 3D printer, which I did show off in my last update video on the printer. This does make the printer look extremely neat, but at the same time it means that the printer is going to take up a lot more space than a typical 3D printer that has the electronics mounted on the actual printer itself. So there is an upgrade that I do highly recommend. There's actually quite a few options if you go over to Thingiverse that allows you to print legs, which will allow you to then fit the whole control box underneath the printer. The control box does have an LCD screen, so you can print directly from a microSD card, or you can hook it up through USB to your computer for tethered printing. Of course, you can also use like a Raspberry Pi if you want to install AstroPrint or Octoprint and make this printer wireless. With its large build volume, you can definitely print a huge variety of things on this machine, and its open form factor is really nice for troubleshooting as well as easy viewing on your print's progress. The Tronxy X3 has an aluminum bed, which would allow you to install an auto bed level sensor fairly easy, which is also a nice thing. As far as the print quality goes on this machine, it is pretty good as well. I printed quite a few cubes when I was just kind of testing out the extruder along with some other prints, and the quality was definitely comparable to my other machines. There are a couple of things though that I do think that should be done with this machine as far as upgrades go. I typically like to upgrade nearly all my machines, and this printer is no exception. For starters, the biggest thing I would probably add to it is a layer cooling fan, especially if you plan on printing something like PLA. You'll get a lot better results and quality with PLA with that active cooling on the first layer. I'd also add some belt tensioners to the X and Y axis, which will make tightening and adjusting much easier. I did something similar with the Anet A8, and with Tronxy's large following on Facebook as well as on Thingiverse, I have no doubt that there is a plethora of upgrades for the belt tensioners. Lastly, like I recommend, this is with all 3D printers really, especially kits, but I mean even ones that aren't kits per se, this is something that you might want to do, and that's just to add a MOSFET for the heated bed, just for the added layer of safety and peace of mind, especially if you do plan on running this printer for long periods of time, or overnight, or leaving it while you're gone. This machine goes anywhere from between $190 on sale to $250 depending on the price point at the time and what's going on. And for that price, it really is an impressive machine. If you do plan on getting this as your first printer, just make sure to label the screws. They didn't come labeled, and take the build really slow. It may be a tedious build, but if you do things correctly, you should only have to build it once. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this review of the Tronxy X3. I will place links in the description down below if you want to find out more or purchase one for yourself. Once again, huge thank you to GearBest for sending me this printer. and allowing me to make videos on it for you guys. If you do have any further questions about this printer, feel free to let me know in the comments down below, and I will do my best, or hopefully somebody else as well will be able to chime in and perhaps give some more details and information. On that note, I will end the video. Don't forget to smack the like button. Let's see if we can get like 100 likes on this video. That'd be killer. And subscribe for more great videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. And on that note, I am out. Peace, guys.